This is Rob from Rob Talks. I know it's been a while, and yeah, been going through everyday life and day activities and such. Now, before I go into this topic, I wanted to ask a question. Have you ever been misunderstood by your disability at a job? And you may even have gotten let go because of that, because of being misunderstood and not being acknowledged by one's disability. So there was a bit of an unexpected news that happened. So for those who know me, of what day job I work at, I'm not going to tell it because this is public basis and I don't want to get sued or get into court or going through by talking about the company that I used to work at. But unfortunately I got let go because of a misunderstanding and because of a brain hiccup that happened in my mind while working at my day job. So for those who do know and who used to have seen me work there, it was a food industry and it was like a fast pace. Everything was going too fast and there was a mix-up with an order, and then there was a cross-contamination part, which, well, I mean, it could have been resolved though, but I would have not seen that as like a time that needs to be let go. Even if it was like I would have gotten like a write-up, then, well, a write-up is a write-up, and it's not like a let go position, like a let go termination. But, you know, I would have taken full responsibility if it was like a write-up. And then maybe I would have talked it over and then they would have considered and not given me a point, but they got to do what they got to do. But in this case, because of not hearing about a disability, there were like so many mixed feelings that I had when I heard about that I was no longer working at the day job. And so here's what I'm going to say. The part of it was that it was shocking. It was like not even unexpected. And it was pretty embarrassing because I would have thought that I would have never gotten let go before. Of all my 31 years of living, I would have never thought I was going to be let go before. And the third one is it made me feel very depressed and sad because that put me into a line of not having a job, and I have to get my insurance is done. I had to get all my personal skills done. So, like, what am I going to do now? And then the fourth thing, though, it was actually pretty upsetting because I wasn't acknowledged by my disability. I had told to HR and then they didn't buy it. And then while they did seem to acknowledge the part of it, then it was like, it just didn't seem like that they had to cover their behinds with their policy of the food policy and the violations of what had happened. So that was the reason, because there was a health code violation that had happened. But it was not my intention at all, and it was so embarrassing because I wanted them to know that it was not my intention of any way to create this conflict. So, and then the part about that got me even mad was because, see, I have a disability, and I know that my disability is hidden, but the case is that they should have acknowledged it and took the time and given me another shot. It's like getting kicked out by a culture, because if you remember from my previous Rob Talks videos, I said one of them was that a disability, or autism in this case, is a culture. It's like a culture. And so getting misunderstood or getting kicked out really did hurt me, because it was like I'm in the base of a culture and you're not going to acknowledge me and you're kicking me out. I mean, we would have had a talking to. I would have gone for revenge. I would have tried everything to fight to get my job back. But there was a bit of a sweet pro about getting removed from the day job that I work at. It was a pretty fast-paced job, like I had said, and it was not a place that I would want to stay until my retirement. even though I had said that I would though, but then things took a turn for the worse, and then it was time to take the wheel and move forward, just like every person should. And I know there's a high percent of a chance that I would likely be hired into a next day job. So for those who have seen me work at my day job, and customers, if you're watching and you have subscribed to my channel, I am so sorry that you had to hear that. And I'm going to miss each and every one of you in our interactions. And thank you so much for subscribing and telling your family and your friends, telling your teachers, telling your paraprofessionals about this channel, because I feel like that this really will help and impact and help build a strong understanding and good skills about that. And for those who had said that my channel has really helped you and that I made a good strong impact and that it's helping those with it, I just want to say that I'm flattered and to thank you so much for that, because without you, I'm glad to be able to help, and I hope that it really does continue on. Now, for the next question of it is, if you have gotten fired or let go in the case because of your disability, what did you do? Like, did it get really hard on you? Did you sulk? Did you cry? Did you belittle yourself and feel like that your self-esteem has gotten so low that no one understands you and that you feel that you're not going to get anywhere because everybody and everywhere that you go are all going to say the same thing or reject you in this case? So, the thing to remember is, don't let it get to you though. It is important to say from the get-go and to know and to understand by saying with what can you do and what can you say that is better. Like, it is very important in this case, especially when you have a disability, you should always tell people that you have a disability. Now, I'm going to lead this up with like a one heated warning. The only times that it would not be okay to say that you have a disability is by saying that if you did something or you say a racist word, you assaulted somebody. Unfortunately, just because you have a disability and you did that, most of the time it would be on you, and it could get you in a very serious trouble, and you don't want to do that. So save yourself and to think hard before you do any action. In my case with the brain hiccup, it was, like I said, it was not my intention to create a conflict for a cross contamination and violate a health safety code. The problem is that it was not like, it was like fast paced, and I kept on getting brought to my attention a few times like where it's going to be delivered, and I keep saying that it will be delivered. But the problem is that it should not take effect, and just because when a sudden action moves, it can make you go into like in a careless matter. It can make you go and not think about the situation, or it could even be that you've been traumatized for the past experiences, like somebody has been lashing out at you, somebody has not been understanding you, somebody has even rushed you, and it made you feel like you're going to get in trouble all over again, or that you're going to be getting lashed out at. So I can understand that. And for me, because I have been lashed out and because I have been traumatized as in my early years, it was not something I wanted to take a risk and want to go forward again. So my strong impact is that I wish that they would have took time to understand, and when I did tell them and try to write an appeal letter, they were still like, nope, it's nice that you've told us, it's great that you told us and all that, but we're gonna have to let you go because it's part of the health rule book and such, which I did not even know. I wish I would have known that from though, but again, and again, I'll say this one more time, it was not my intention to do. And if I could even brag too with my day job, that I that I formerly did, I had one Employment of the Month reward, and I had been rewarded 8 times of a certificate. I had been rewarded 8 times for good customer service, bringing the food vouchers, and I've gotten like kudos and rewards to pick something free when I'm off the clock. So for those who have also done that to reward me, I just wanted to thank you. They were really appreciative, and the food was great. They were all digested well into my stomach. So, thank you again. Now, one of the things though that I also wanted to bring up is, what am I going to do now? Now that you know that I've gotten let go, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, why don't I just apply for jobs and just keep going all the way through. So I'm going to take you on there right now. Okay, so we're going into the computer, and this is the evidence in the spot, and that is where I'm going to show everybody on what jobs I will apply for. Alright, so this is where I'm going to be showcasing on what we do. So we'll start off with interviewing, and let's get started. Okay, so I found some pretty good choices, most of it being that it resembles and it relates to my qualifications. So if you're looking for something that involves and acknowledges and understands disabilities, mostly you could find at like grocery stores. Because grocery stores like Raley's, Bel Air, or even Grocery Outlet, as I had discovered, Grocery Outlet really is focusing on people with disabilities. So I think that would qualify perfectly. And I did apply for the Regal movie theaters and the Cinemark because I personally love movies so much, and I think I would qualify for the best mannerisms and the best ways to engage to keep the company alive. Now, the most important thing that I would want to have with any job is what gets me moving, because I personally don't want to sit around like a squid. I want to be able to move and to get going and keep the time flowing. So if it gets me to move, if it gets me around, then that would be the perfect job for me. Alright guys, so just to reflect back on what we've been talking about. So the thing to remember is, when you have a disability, do not be afraid to admit it or to tell anyone. And if someone still doesn't get it and you get, say, let go for whatever reason because they don't acknowledge your disability, then, you know, it may be time that you may have to move forward and go to a place where they do acknowledge it. And remember, this is your own race. Don't let anyone judge you or go like, oh, this is like not a good job for you, you're not going to go that far with that, it's not something that you're going to live by until your retirement. Who cares? Because jobs are important, yes, but if it's something that you can afford or something that you're doing temporarily until the big one comes, or if this is the only job that you have, you know what? It's still a job, and regardless of it, and the payment too, and the money, but you know what? You run your own race. It doesn't matter how old you are. And you know what? For starters, I think that this is the right time to move forward. So, I will be going and I will be signing off, but I just want to let you all know that I will still be here and I will still be making videos regardless of what job I'm doing, but I hope that this will all help you out and to give a good response, and it'll give you some ideas on what to do for you're an individual, or what you can do and what tips that you can do for as an employment with a disability. I have faith in you and I know that it will do well. Well, and I will be talking more about it soon, so please subscribe to the channel and I will see you all next time. Wish me luck, and I will keep you posted on the good news. So, bye!